All right, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about transformations. I've split one of the lessons into two lessons just because I don't like covering each one on the same day. So we're going to talk about more transformations tomorrow. The first transformation we're going to talk about today is translation. The first thing you need to know is that transformation is just an operation that maps an original geometric figure onto a new figure, and we call that the image. So the original gets moved, and the moved image is called the image. Right? That's transformation, when it's being moved. Right? Translation is a transformation. It's a type of transformation. All right, you need to write this down. This gives you the definition of translation, which is just the figure is being slid from one position to another. Here you can see example of a translation. We've got this B sitting here. Okay, it's being moved up and to the right. Right, because now this is the image. This is the new one. All right, so you need to write this down. This is what really goes on during translation. So this is what goes on during translation. It's that every point of the original figure is moved from the same distance in the same direction. Here's a very simple translation. Okay, it's being moved from here. Here's the original and here's the new one. The black is the image. It's being moved from here to here. So everything that happened is just it's being moved to the right. Well, okay, some people say, well, it's been moved too because it's here and now it's two spaces over. But that's actually not how far it's moved. It's actually moved farther. And let me show you. We're going to call this point A right here. The new point, okay, when we move A, it doesn't stay A. Right, because we don't know if that's A on the original or A on the image. So what we do is we call this point A prime, and that's just A with an apostrophe. So now I know A prime is the one that's been moved. And what I do is I look at the ordered pair. A is at -8, 6. And I look at the ordered pair for A prime. It's at -3, 6. So I can look at this and figure out how far it's been moved. How far has this been moved? 5. I've moved it 5 spaces. It started at -8 and it moved 5 spaces. Okay? Do not be caught up and see that it's just 2 over and say it's been moved 2. That's more than that. This point has been moved exactly 5 spaces, and we can count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Does everybody see how that works? So what part of our homework is going to do is going to say describe the translation. So what we got to do is we got to look, okay, the original here is the green image, and see what's going on. Well, easiest thing for me is to make a point and say this is A and that's A prime. That's the new one. So I can go off that, because sometimes it's hard just to say, well, I can tell it's being down and it's moved to the right, but how much exactly? Right, so what I do is I look at one point that corresponds to each other and see what's being done. Well, and I always go X first and then Y. So it's being moved to the right. Can you want to figure out how many spaces to the right it's being moved? Okay, it's being moved 2. A is at 5 on the X. A prime's at 7. So how many has it been moved? 2. Now we look, it's being moved down. That's obvious. How far? Well, let's look. A is at 8 on the Y. A prime's at 4. So how far down has it moved? 4. Okay? Now, most likely they're going to say that's -4. Okay? But you'll see that here in a minute when we talk about that. Okay? But if you're saying it's moved down, okay, you don't have to say it's moved down -4, it's just moved down. Okay? But if it just says how much has been moved, then your answer on the Y, then it's -4. Okay? It's been moved down 4. Any question? All right, same thing. I want everyone to look at this, and you come up with the answer, and I'm going to call on you here in a second. So, looking here, green is my original. I can tell it's being moved left, and it's being moved down. Okay? If I look at my X, I look at my X first. A, let's say this is A, it's on the 2 on the X. Now it's on -3. So that would be 5 spaces over. So it's being moved left 5. Then I look, A is here on the 6. Okay, A prime is here on the 3. So it's been moved down 3. Does that make sense? Okay. Any questions on how to do that? Alright, you need to write this down. Alright, rectangle JKLM is shown. What they do is they name the images based on the points. So this is JKLM, rectangle JKLM. If it's translated 6 units to the right and 4 units down, then you're going to, what your homework's going to ask you to do is find the coordinates of the vertices, which are just the corners of the new image, of the new one, okay, of the new figure. So that's what we're going to do today. And that's what you're going to do. So here's what I want you to write down. All of this, okay, this is the easiest way of figuring out the original points and what's happening to them and what the new points are going to be. So everybody needs to copy this down. So this is the easiest way of graphing the new image, of figuring out what the vertices are for the image. So J was originally at -2, 5, and we were going to move it 6 to the right and 4 down. Now, like I talked about, when you're describing it, I don't care. It's fine if you write down 4, okay? But when you're writing it as an ordered pair, they've wrote it as -4. That means you know it's going to go down 4. If my x coordinate's negative, which way do you think it's going? To the right or to the left? Left. If it's positive, you go to the right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 6 and we're going to add it to -2, and we're going to subtract 4 from 5. So my image, my J prime, is going to be at 4, 1. Does that make sense? Because -2 plus 6 is 4, and 5 minus 4 is 1. Does anyone have any questions about J prime? Alright, let's do K prime. -2 plus 6 we know is 4. 1 minus 4 is -3. So I've done J prime and K prime. I want you to do L prime and M prime, and I'm going to combine check. So let's do L prime. I'm going to add 6 to -8. What is -8 plus 6?
2.
Not 2.
-2.
It's -2. Hey, that's where some of you went wrong. And then we subtract 4 from 1. 1 minus 4 is? -3. Okay? Now, here's what I want to talk about. Let's look at something. Hey, you know J and K have the same x coordinate, right? -2. So J and K are going to have the same x. But does L have the same x as K?
Nope.
No. So is it going to have 4 right here?
No.
No. So don't make that mistake. But what K and L have in common is they both have 1 on the y. So if you know what the y coordinate for K prime is, you know what the y coordinate for L prime is, right? Mm-hmm. M prime's the easiest. Because you know what the x coordinate for M prime is going to be because it's the same as L prime, -2. And you know that it has the same y coordinate as J, right? They both start at 5, so when you subtract 4 from it, you end with 1. So that's my 4 coordinates. So this is the original image, okay? Or the original figure. Now let's draw the image. It said it moved 6 to the right and 4 down, right? Is that what it said? So M prime, okay, what did we say M prime's at? -2, 1. Okay, so M prime is actually where K was. Okay, where's, what about L prime? Where's the L prime going to be?
-2, -3.
-2, -3. What about J prime?
4, 1.
4, 1. And K prime? 4, -3. Right. Does this look like it's been moved 6 to the right and 4 down? Yeah. Yes, it has. Okay? It has. Any questions?
Nope.
All right, here's your homework assignment.